For the moment, I have other duties. Blonde or brunette? She's a lady, all right. And her name is Enterprise. Sounds like a working girl to me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory. Just a little recap here. Jeff and I are both huge Star Trek nerds. Dory is very new to Star Trek. We can't say she's a complete Star Trek virgin anymore because we've now seen, 10 episodes?
Yeah, we're almost halfway through the season. Dory is no longer a Star Trek virgin because she has been penetrated by Wesley.
No, not by Wesley. No, Picard.
Why not both?
No, he's a child. He's
Wesley,
a child.
the boy?
No, he's a literal child. No.
He's a minor. He's like 15. No. Wesley, take 1,000 steps back.
Off to a good start.
All right, so getting
Dory,
past
would you
that...
like to recap our not Wesley-less episode for us?
Wait, we haven't said what the episode is yet.
Oh, that's... Okay, well, I mean, facts don't care about your feelings.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah, this is really good. This is really good. All right, getting past that awfulness. This episode, we're going to be talking about the TNG episode...
Goodbye.
The Big Goodbye, yes. Original air date, January 9th, 1988.
Yeah, we're into 88, boys.
I believe this is the 12th episode of the first season, given official number counts, because Encounter at Farpoint counts as 2. So we will start with a recap, as always, from Dory.
Okay, first, let me say, I loved this episode. It has everything for me. Okay, there's great costumes, questionable makeup, Picard and Crusher, thirsting for each other. Data has really fun lines and makes things weird. It's everything. Mm-hmm. I love this episode.
Yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of this episode.
Oh, I can't even say how much I loved it. It took me an hour and a half to get through this episode because I have 4 pages of notes.
This was actually one of the favorites among audiences at the beginning for the first season, as well as a favorite for the cast, because as Will Wheaton describes it, any chance to do a period piece is something actors fucking jump on.
Me too. That's my favorite thing. I love a costume drama. Okay, but recap. Okay, we start off. Riker is doing the captain's log.
Whoa.
Boom.
Wow.
Minds are blown. Okay, he's doing the captain's log because the captain is busy learning a language, but a greeting. So not really the full language, just a few lines, because they're going to meet the Harada people, and they get real mad if you fuck up the greeting.
Because they're very reasonable people.
Oh, yeah, of course. Totally rational thing to do. So, but then Picard is like, I need a break. We've got a new program on the holodeck, and I need to test it out by going into Dixon Hill simulation, San Francisco, 1941. I actually Googled this to be is Dixon Hill real? I've never heard. No, it's not.
No,
it's from
it's
Star Trek.
absolutely not. Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if this was just a made-up thing or not.
It is extremely heavily inspired by the Maltese Falcon, though.
Yes, that is very apparent. Okay, so Picard goes in. He appears in a dirty hallway, and there's a lady mopping the floor, and he looks psyched. There's gross water stains on the wall, and he's like, yes, this is what I want. This disgusting room. So then he goes into his office. We meet the secretary, who has alarmingly bad hair, but a great dress. Mm-hmm. And she's like, there's somebody here for you. And he goes in the office, and it's supposed to be this femme fatale lady. Her name is Jessica Bradley. And the lighting fails her in terms of the femme fatale thing because she's not cool for me. I don't know. And then they fuck it up because like she's like, oh, I honestly don't even remember what she's talking to him about.
Someone's trying to kill her.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, my God. That's like the main thing. Honestly, this episode was very distracting in multiple ways because I think they also keep commenting on like that he's wearing his like Starfleet outfit still.
Yeah.
And he's like, haha, it's a bet.
Next time, wear a suit.
Yeah. So that would have been such a good like walkout exit. But she ruined it by coming back in to get a stupid plot device for later.
Yep.
The business card to clarify.
Yeah.
And what a good fucking exit. But then they ruined it.
Well, it wasn't time for the commercial, so.
Yeah.
Well, of course. So then Picard decides to go back to back to the ship. But apparently the simulation can still run when he's not there because that guy, Mr. Leach, comes in, like, shouting about some nonsense.
Yes, Mr. Leach, the character very heavily based on Peter Lorre.
Really, this guy was a piece and a half. So then
Can
he
I
gets
kill
back.
him?
Yeah. Ugh. That guy. I hate that guy. So then he goes back to the ship and he's like, oh, this is great. And Dr. Crusher is like, hey, this sounds interesting. Oh, so she wipes so Jessica Bradley kisses him. And apparently that like stays into the real world because.
Yeah, they're never consistent about that in this episode.
She wipes the lipstick off his face like a mother. And I was like, oh, this is not cute. This is like awkward, honestly.
Yeah.
She might like licks her finger to like wipe it from his face. She might as well. And then he's like, you should come with me. And she's like, yeah, that's great. And I actually wrote in my notes, Dr. C got excited, but Picard is horny for the holodeck.
Yeah, because he invites some random historian we've never met.
Mr. Whelan.
Yeah.
Who truly does nothing. Oh, yeah. So then they decide to go back in, but Data wants to join. And so they all get in fun outfits, 1940s outfits, and like it works for everyone, even Data. It is a look. Also, I think we encounter the best actor of all time when they arrive back in San Francisco. First of all, they also arrive in the middle of a street. And I'm like, get off the fucking road because people are honking at them.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
But then they come to this vendor. This man.
Yeah.
Nice. I hoped you would bring him up.
This man is an icon. I looked him up. The character's name is Vendor. The actor's name is Dick Miller.
Yep.
And an Oscar for this man, because they're like, this is the line. So the vendor goes, he's not from around here, is he? Referring to Data. And then Picard goes, no, he's not. He's from South America. And then the vendor, in all, like, this is truly an Academy Award, Lifetime Achievement, every award, give this man a Grammy. I don't care.
I love this line too.
Yeah, he's got a nice tan. But he says it in like the most convincing way I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, this man, how do I get a poster to put up of this man in my home? Be like, this is the best actor.
Yeah.
Move over.
Fun fact, this is not Dick Miller's only appearance in Star Trek. He gets another appearance, oddly enough, in another period piece, but you won't see that for a very long time.
Yes, this man is my new favorite actor. Sorry, Paul Newman. Move over. Dick Miller is my number one. Yeah, that was truly the best line the best delivery I've ever heard of a line in my entire life.
Got a nice tan.
Yeah. It was honestly very convincing for like, if I wasn't watching what we were watching, the episode, I would have been like, yeah, he does. But that's how convincing. But I was looking at Data and I was like, oh, no.
Well, I think he meant it to be sarcastic.
I mean, truly, it doesn't matter to me because it was just...
Accurate.
It was beautiful. It was just so good. I truly... now my life is like before Dick Miller and after Dick Miller. Those are my...
Dick Miller.
Yeah. It's truly a magical moment in my life, which I'll
Great
never
name,
forget.
too. Good job, Richard.
Yeah. Truly fantastic. Okay, so back to the story. Okay, so the group show up. They speak to the vendor. Then Dr. C shows up. Dr. C looks amazing. What a bombshell. Oh yeah, so I forgot. Okay, so then like the gang is arrested. Well, sorry, Picard is arrested because they're like, you killed Jessica Bradley, and I swear to God, for a good second I was like, who the fuck was Jessica Bradley? And then like, it's the lady from the first scene. Took me a good second there to figure it out.
It's almost like she wasn't actually that memorable.
No, she was.
Because she was just a character archetype.
Yeah, no, she wasn't great. No offense to the actress, that's not her fault.
No.
Oh yeah, everybody gets so excited that he's in like an interrogation room. Even like everybody's really getting like enjoying this, but there's apparently an issue from the outside. Back on the Enterprise, even though we're on the Enterprise the whole time. Riker is trying to speak to the Heridans?
Haradins?
I don't remember. Herodins, right. But they're like, they'll only speak to Picard because he is the boss. And Riker is a measly subordinate. So, fuck you, Riker.
That's just accurate.
But they're having some issues with the holodeck because, like, the Herodins, like, sent in some kind of flash nonsense. I don't know. But there's technical difficulties. So Wesley goes down to help Geordi, who truly does nothing this episode other than just speak to Riker and give him reports. Oh, Geordi. I hope they get you do more stuff because you're truly a treasure. Oh, okay. So then, where were we? Oh, so Picard is then let go and he sees Dr. Crusher and he puts his hand down his necktie when he sees her and makes nonstop eye contact. Those two are eye fucking like there's no one else in that room. And they come up real close and he's like, do you want to see my office? And I'm like, yeah, she does. But apparently so does everybody else. So Data's like, I do. Yeah. And Whelan's like, I do. And then Crusher is me. She rolls her eyes and I'm like, read the room, buddy. So they go back to his office, and shortly after, that guy they've been talking about whole time, Cyrus Redblock, shows up. He's like the shady character, and everybody's real excited that like Cyrus. Oh, Mr. Leach comes back. Sorry, and Mr. Leach, I think he shoots.
Mr. Leach
Weyland.
returns.
Yeah, but they're like so upset. Like they're all really excited to see a gun for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
splendid.
is this like, this is really weird, you guys. That's like a fucking weapon. This shouldn't be that exciting.
It's like they've never played a video game before.
I know.
Do they have video games in this?
Maybe video games have been outlawed by the future.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
Oh yeah. So Weyland gets shot for real. He's lying on the floor for basically the rest of the episode. Oh, but Picard, he goes up and he knocks that gun out of Leach's hand and then slaps him in the face.
Yeah.
My heart.
How dare you?
Because he slaps him. He doesn't even punch him. He slaps him.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what a move. What a power move. He doesn't punch him. He slaps another man in the face.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I love that so much. But then, like, Red Block shows up and is like, I need the item. And they're talking about an item for so fucking long. I also think it's very funny. They don't say what it is at any point.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is intentional, but they just keep talking about the item, the MacGuffin, if you will.
Yeah, they really didn't need to do that. Like, they could have just said, like, I want the ruby or whatever, and it wouldn't have made a difference to the episode.
Very true.
Oh, yeah, but just the item.
Yeah.
So then they, like, talk about, he's like, this isn't even real. And then he's like, prove it. And then Red Block goes into the hallway with Leach and, like, disappears. So that also is like, what's real and what isn't? Oh, yeah, that, like, lieutenant from the earlier interrogation comes back. And then we think that it's basically done. But then the lieutenant has, like, almost a philosophical moment where he's like, this truly, I had to pause it. And I was like, what did we just watch? Because he's like, Dix. He's like, Dix, if I go home, will my wife and children be there? And I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's thinking about how it's not real. This is really messed up. This is so upsetting and wild. And that was like a whole thing I was not expecting. Like, it got real deep and really kind of upsetting for a second.
In an episode
there.
that was practically a comedy before this.
Yeah, that was like, wow, way to bring it down.
That was such a weird thing to tack on to the episode.
Oh, yeah. It was freaking crazy. And then it ends with him basically, Picard bolting out of there and then going up to the bridge and doing his, like, apparently pitch perfect nonsense shouting to the group.
I listened to that 3 times over because of how stupid it sounded.
I wonder if he was, like, really, like, who created that nonsense language? Because that's not, sometimes, like, you hear...
Maybe Patrick Stewart made it up.
I truly, like, sometimes you hear, like, these made-up languages, and they sound, like, legit.
Yeah, this doesn't.
Oh, yeah, this is, like, someone clearing their throat really roughly.
Yeah.
Like, they have all the little kernel bits stuck in their throat because they had, like, 4 pounds of popcorn.
Yeah.
And that was, but also he gets to do it in his 1940s outfit, and that was freaking wild.
Yeah, I love the applause after.
Oh, yeah, that was, what an achievement. Congratulations, Picard. You cleared your throat for, like, a minute.
Because that doesn't feel like an in-universe clapping. Like, to me,
No.
that feels like all the other actors, like, giving him a round of applause because he made it through the line.
I mean, they might have been.
Like, that's my genuine belief, is that's what that applause is.
All right, guys, let's keep it in because that's our best take so far.
Oh, God, to see the bloopers on that, though.
Oof.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good season 1 bloopers. I'll find you the video sometime.
Oh, yeah, when we're done the first season, I want to see every blooper
absolutely.
possible. Yeah, so then, of course, like, every episode, they end on the bridge, and that's it. I'd like to start a petition to have Patrick Stewart wear that suit every episode. The show was made before I was even born, so this petition is real late to the party.
Yeah.
Oh, the hat, everything. I loved it. Everybody should wear 1940s clothes all the time.
Well, unfortunately, you don't see Dixon Hill too often in the series, but it does come up a couple more times.
But I will again?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, it's Picard's favorite novel.
I love it. I
don't know why, because it doesn't really fit with his personality at all, but whatever.
Yeah.
At least not from
Yeah.
what they show you.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that this was, like, sort of where he went to. This feels more like a Riker sort of thing he would like more.
Oh, you'll see what Riker likes later.
Oh, God. I can truly only imagine, because I still have, like, no idea who Riker is supposed to be at this point.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't really established Riker too much at this point.
They haven't established a lot of the characters much at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also haven't given Riker an episode to himself, so...
I mean, he sort of got, like, a little bit of a thing in the episode with Q.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was sort of his episode, but
But not really.
they didn't really explore him with it.
Yeah.
They explored
Yeah.
that he can be both stern and
Lols.
Yeah, because I
And
even
still
feel
funny.
like that episode is more about Picard anyway.
yes, I would
Because
agree.
Riker, he gets Q powers and then goes evil immediately in like 2
Yep.
seconds with little explanation.
So, Dory, I'd like you to know that this is actually our first of many holodeck hijinks episodes.
Yes.
Because the something goes wrong on the holodeck thing is definitely a reoccurring theme throughout Star Trek
Yeah.
to the
Oh my
point that
God.
it's a bit of a stereotype.
I love it. I already love it. I want...
And usually it involves the safety suddenly turning off.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
I don't even understand why you can have the safeties off. Why is that an option at all?
That's a very good question. But, science.
Yeah, in case we want real bullets for some reason.
Yeah.
On the holodeck, especially, okay, so I understand maybe this would still be really stupid, but I understand maybe on like training holodecks or something where they have like they don't have safeties on or something.
Yes, but on the ship.
Yeah,
like,
for recreational holodecks, why
Yeah.
is having the safeties off even possible? Like that should
Yeah.
just be baked into the programming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole conversation.
But that would be
probably.
less fun.
But
Yes.
can you imagine? I do love the idea of, like, somebody later on asking, like, Waylon being like, oh, yeah, I got shot. And they're like, oh, yeah, how? And he's like, a fake gangster in a holodeck simulation. What a way to die, though.
Yeah.
holodeck incident.
It being the 1980s, of course they went straight to, what if our technology inventions become self-aware? Ooh!
Yeah.
And I feel like they did not utilize that well at all. Because it's just kind of tacked onto the end and then left as like an open question, and then they go straight back to comedy.
Yeah. Also, the whole reason that there was a malfunction truly didn't make sense.
No, it didn't. It was just for the sake of it. I think what really disappointed me about this episode, because I remember it fondly, but watching it again, quite honestly, the plot doesn't start until you're halfway through it.
Oh yeah,
because you don't give a crap about the mystery that's actually going on the holodeck. You have absolutely zero interest
agreed.
in that.
100%. I forgot who the murder victim was.
Yes. Yeah.
I forgot we met her.
and the actual you're getting arrested now thing and the safeties have turned off stuff, that doesn't happen until you are fully past the 20-minute mark. And I'm like, we're halfway through the episode and we don't have a plot yet.
Yeah, watching this episode again is like, I know you really loved it, Dory, but like watching it again, it's like, it's fine.
It's watchable, but I felt like there was no purpose in the end.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that it was fun. So I will give them that. At no point was I watching it thinking, this is boring. Just, there's no point to it. And I did definitely consciously think that there's no point to it.
Oh, I agree. It's not like actually like a good episode, like narratively.
Right.
It's just so fun. And it has so many things that I love. Specifically, I've learned like in a Star Trek episode. So that's why I enjoyed it so much. Because it's also so silly and so stupid.
Yeah.
I kind of like, when I was looking into the behind-the-scenes stuff, I discovered something that I'd completely forgotten. That's something they revisit in a different series later on. But their original plan for the episode was to actually make all of the holodeck stuff in black and white.
Oh.
And the director ended up disagreeing with that.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
And Gene Roddenberry came out and said, no, the holodeck can't, like, change people's color, so you can't do that. And they do end up revisiting that in a different series later on to actually really good effect. And it's one of the few things that I really enjoyed art direction-wise in that series. But yeah, I kind of wish they had done it here, but I still think that the set design of all the 1940s stuff was absolutely on point, and the lighting was great. So
yeah.
Watching it the whole time, I'm like, the lighting on the 1940 stuff looks better than the lighting on the ship.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, except for when we meet Jessica Bradley and she goes to the window. I was like, this woman is not well lit. It's supposed to be, I suppose, like, I have a vision of what like femme fatale noir like women are lit, and that was not.
Oh yeah, it was definitely more subdued lighting for noir lighting.
Yeah. For the rest of it, yeah, it looked great, but that
Yes.
one particular shot of her at the window, I was like, oh, this is not it, gang. This is not it.
Star Trek is lit TNG rather is lit very much like a stage show, and that never appealed to me very much. They do kind of fix it partway through the series, but as it is right now, it's so obvious when there's like a dark spot behind them just because of how they designed the sets. So I like the fact that when they're doing the 1940 stuff, I think they're technically lighting it all the same way, but because it's dark backgrounds, it works better.
Yeah.
Whereas having a random dark spot on like a console behind them doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the lighting in the show is always like, it's TV, so it's pretty flat.
Yeah, but for the early part of TNG that we're in, it's actually not super flat. Like, there's a lot of very pronounced shadows that they do that it kind of bugs me sometimes because it stands out to me, but I have a feeling that doesn't stand out to most viewers, so it's fine. The like super flat lighting that we're used to on TNG starts, I think, in the like towards the end of the second or third season.
Man, I freaking love after Picard has his first visit to the holodeck, and then it just looks like he called a meeting to talk about how awesome the holodeck is.
Oh yeah, because the first few minutes he's just talking about that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh right, so back to the actual topic of this discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's when like Riker's like, like it has to be done. The speech has to be done perfectly.
Yeah.
And then Data is like, it has to be perfect, or else there's all this bad things can happen. All these like things, because all this bad stuff will happen. And do you want to look back on the past references? Because I think you should look back on the past references and see how they fucked it up. Because you're gonna fuck it up if you don't do it perfectly. Like, the stakes have never been higher. It's like, oh my god.
And then they're like, well, we don't want to watch the past references.
Yeah, and Troy's just like, shut up, Data.
And he's like, your loss. He is like, Data, my God, it's like, wow, read the room, calm the fuck down.
I
But
love
he's
how they
like,
blatantly break the show don't tell rule with the, once you've seen it once, you don't have to see that again. I'm like, but the audience hasn't seen it once. You guys are just avoiding doing this because of the budget, aren't you?
Yeah.
it's like the opposite of the first episode where they literally show something that's happened already on the screen.
Automobiles.
Oh yeah, I actually saw automobiles.
Oh my God, that definition, I died. Data's like an ancient Earth device used primarily for transportation, also seen as a source of status and virility, often a prime ingredient in teenage mating rituals. I was like, no. And then Wesley is like, I forget what he said, but he like makes a face or something, and he has a line, but it's like, Wesley, I wrote in capital letters, don't get any ideas, Wesley. We don't have time for this.
Is it just me, or is the show being like consistently weirdly horny with Wesley? And it's,
I mean, we were weirdly horny with Wesley at the beginning, weren't we?
Okay, we
Weren't we?
were not
Yeah.
all of us.
yeah, that was you.
That was
Okay.
you.
Okay, wow, don't Wesley shame me. Don't crusher shame me. That is crushing.
I mean, I do think the show is very like horny in general.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh god, that close up between Beverly and Picard in the when they first meet each other on the holodeck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is horny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got that rando officer like kind of standing in the background of it, even though he's
Yeah.
completely out of focus. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, why did you guys do that? Who shot this?
I mean, I think that was on purpose to make it like, oh yeah, there's still a guy there, and this is actually pretty awkward.
Yeah, but they could have done that better with like an audio cue where he like interrupts their moment and they get flustered.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of audio cue, did you notice that when Crusher takes off her sunglasses, there was like a little kind of glittery little like sound effect there?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
She had a butt ton of makeup on for that entire scene.
The makeup is so bad. I swear it's like 1980s version of 1940s.
Yes,
like the
definitely.
clothes are
Yeah.
fine, but that makeup, that like really heavy eyeshadow, and that like the orangey lipstick, okay, yeah, but it's not Beverly's color.
No, and the blush stands out like no tomorrow.
Oh my God!
Like
yeah.
it's screaming at you.
They just like drew on her face with something.
I personally like the heavy blush though.
That's fair. I think it was heavy blush in conjunction with all of the really severe.
It's just like a lot of
Damn it,
makeup.
sorry, I'm not a makeup expert. What's the word for all the other blending that they had in there? Because like
The contouring?
she was pale. Yes, she was pale as a piece of paper.
Oh, her foundation.
Yes, that's what it's called. Thank you.
Because the rule in theory is supposed to be like you either have like a bold lip or like a bold eye, and they went with both.
Yeah.
They went
Yes.
with everything bold as possible. Bold cheeks, bold
Bold is
eye,
beautiful.
bold lips. I mean, bold accessories, although I do love the accessories.
That's fair.
But yeah, that was, when I noticed the guy in the background, I for a second was like, how funny would that be if it like clears up and it's Data standing between
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, it would have been much more funny if it was Data.
Yeah, I agree. Because Data was the one doing all the awkward interruptions in general that episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in his like 1940s voice.
I love that he like leans into these things. Like I remember
Yes.
he loved Sherlock Holmes, so I did appreciate that throwback because I think Geordie was like, it's like the 1940s Sherlock Holmes, and Data's like, tell me more.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Indubitably, my dear Data. And Data
Yeah.
like literally looks pleased with himself when he says that. I loved it.
Yeah, I like that Data is really into detectives.
He's on ice.
Yeah.
He's being grilled. I love how blatantly they'll talk out of one side of their mouth when they do that, and I'm like, oh man, like none of you are Bogart, but this is really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1940s stuff was really great. I like how they lean into it so far. And even someone like Picard, who to me always just seems like we know that he's got a bit of like a goofier side now and then, but like this feels like this is just like really far in the future cosplay.
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't have thought he'd be the kind of person to like lean into something like this, where he'd like get to basically play dress up and literally get to like role play stuff like at this level.
Well, I mean, apparently there's no TV and no video games and no radio and anything.
Yes.
So all you have is LARPing.
Yeah, they're way too excited about it for sure. But on the topic of like leaning into these roles really heavily, I'd actually like to give a shout out to Mr. Lawrence Turney, who
is he
played
Redblock?
Cyrus Redblock.
Yeah.
He was
Good. Born to play tough guy villains.
Yeah.
I thought he was so good.
Yeah.
He is.
Especially like in the weirdly philosophical part.
Oh
Yes.
my god. Yeah.
Oddly enough, also not his last appearance in Star Trek. However,
Good.
You won't see him again for a very long time, unfortunately. So
I thought, yeah, the actor was so good. I actually wrote in my notes, where was it? I wrote that he's like he's a very interesting villain, because he's
Yes.
kind of like quiet. He's not. I also loved his line. A senseless killing is immoral, but killing for a purpose can be quite often ingenious. I was like, oh my god.
yeah, they gave him some good dialogue. Made him a very, very interesting, even though he was only a one-scene villain.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quite like that. I did think it was a little weird the way that they stepped off the holodeck and started very slowly fading, and I'm like, wait, does that mean you could gun someone down off the holodeck, technically?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, I love how I guess it's just because I'm used to how they end up doing it later, but
Yes.
it's just very weird to me that like the holograms can survive off the holodeck for a brief moment.
Yeah, I mean, they technically hadn't decided yet on all of
Yeah.
the technology, so it's very early on, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how long that lipstick would have stayed on Picard's face.
That's a good point. Yeah, why did that stay?
I think
Yeah.
they established later that like certain things in the holodeck are literally real because they use transporter and replicator technology. So like some of the physical things are like literally like replicated in.
Wait, have we seen a replicator yet? I don't think so.
Oh, I guess we haven't. No.
Oh man, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that you bring it up, I didn't realize we haven't seen a replicator yet.
All right, let's not tell Dory what the details on that are.
Okay. I mean, they're from TOS.
Sort of. They didn't
Not
really
in the
call
same
them,
way.
Yeah, they didn't call them that in TOS, and they kind of treated it more like a dispenser machine in TOS. But anyway, we'll skip over that topic until you come across it.
Yeah. Man, that it's a piece of technology so ubiquitous with Star Trek, and it's weird.
Yes.
It's weird to think about that we're this far in and haven't seen it yet.
That's cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it will cause an abundance of trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
They definitely
Very
try
much
to
yes.
underutilize it because it becomes a piece of technology that is technically too powerful for its own good, but, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I have a little bit of, like, I wouldn't say beef, but it's, like, another, like, kind of pedantic thing is, like, so Picard has to learn this greeting, right? And he's, like, they're physically teaching him the language. Why aren't they just teaching him the phonetics?
I wrote that down too. I was like, why
Yeah.
would they not just write it down? Because yeah, at the B, and he's like the Z, but the B. Why, if you just have to memorize this one thing, why would you learn the whole language?
Right.
Yeah. You should
that
just learn the greeting.
Yeah. Oh my god, I agree 1,000%. I wrote that down also, because that is so stupid.
I work in broadcasting, and yeah, you just, when it comes to names and stuff, like, you just give the anchors phonetics. like you write it with English letters to how it would sound, It's, you don't have to learn Russian every time, like, a Russian soccer player comes up,
Very true.
Yeah, that was
I'm just like,
that
why?
was kind of wild.
Yeah, why is he full on learning the language?
So they could give him the one-liner at the beginning where I spell knife with an N, though I
Yeah.
never could spell. Okay, so Picard confirmed for anti-intellectual who can't spell.
Here's also I just thought of. If there was so much pressure for him to like learn this greeting, why the fuck did he go into the holodeck?
Because, wait, they discussed that at the beginning.
They do? Okay, I have no recollection.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy's like, you might be over preparing for this. You should take a break just to, like, get your head clear and stuff, so you're not like, you know how sometimes when you're working on a project and like you just need to like take a breather.
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, I remember that. Okay. But like this just seemed like a really like long, even though they were stuck in there for a while, but like they hadn't tried to leave until like way later. So they were still in it for like a really long time before they realized they couldn't leave.
Yeah.
So like timing, like that's like real poor time management. Picard.
Yeah.
Like you're a captain.
Yeah, like they were already late by the time that they realized that they couldn't leave. And it's
Yeah.
like, you guys probably should have left a while ago, but...
Is nobody wears a watch in this group?
Yeah.
No, the computer tells time.
Well,
Of
I
course.
guess they didn't know the exact timing of the Haradan rendezvous,
Yeah, that's true.
because they seemed a bit surprised by it. Like they seemed like, oh, you're early or something, you know.
Oh, I just realized something.
What's that?
That meeting that just turned into Picard being like excited about shit, or that started off with Picard being excited about the holodeck.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Wesley there?
Oh yeah. Oh, because it had something to do with the Haradan. Yeah, it doesn't make sense why Wesley's there at all.
Yeah, aside from delivering a funny line to him, that's it.
Yeah, because he's not as... Because that just seemed to be like a... There didn't seem to be any new information. It was just like a kind of briefing. And Wesley's not a senior officer, so...
Exactly, so what the hell? That's very weird.
Yeah.
It's also weird to see him like at the desks and stuff. Like should a child really be like having access to controls of a ship of this size? We get that he's been like deputized in a way, but like how legit can that be? Like he's still only 15 years. He hasn't graduated high school yet.
Yeah.
His schooling is questionable, even though he is like the prodigy, the gifted one. But still, like, qualifications do somewhat mean something.
Okay, so in fairness, we in Star Trek, we really only see Starfleet and people who are members of Starfleet.
Yes.
But school does not seem to be a thing in the Star Trek universe.
No, very true.
It's all like
Okay.
tutoring and independent work and stuff. But again, we only really see like family, like Starfleet families. So that could just be the deal there. If you're living on Earth, there's probably schools or something.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. But also, they may have just not thought about it because they were like, well, we're not writing anything on that planet, so no point.
Yeah.
Also, they probably, if they had to do school stuff with Wesley, they'd have to get some other kids.
Yeah, some other teens.
Did you guys notice what an absolute hard ass they made Riker in this episode? Like, I know they've treated him as very like no nonsense and basically unable to have fun up until this point in the series, but like at one point when they're having problems on the holodeck and he's already frustrated because the Haradans have contacted him and he's like, well, the captain's busy, so... And he comes down to the holodeck while they're trying to fix it, and he's like, have you tried the intercom? Yes. Riker to holodeck. He just said he's tried it. You don't even care what they say.
Yeah.
And there's so many little moments like this that Riker has in the episode where he just like seems exasperated and like just doesn't want to put up with shit. And I'm like, Riker,
It's your
just
job.
settle down.
Yeah. To be honest, I will put that down to it's a very delicate situation and the stakes are relatively high.
Yeah, but they've treated him as fairly no-nonsense up until this point, I would say. Mm-hmm. So, like, this has kind of been his personality. Anytime they're in a serious situation, he's just a no-nonsense hard-ass, and it's like...
Yeah.
That's not a personality.
You gotta give him leeway, man. I mean, his boyfriend's on the holodeck. He's stuck.
That's a good point.
He's really worried. He's concerned.
Yeah.
He's stuck in a simulation.
Yeah.
The stakes couldn't be higher. There's also real guns.
He's jealous that he's stuck in there with Beverly.
She's gonna steal his man.
Yeah.
On that note, this episode does absolutely fail at delivering tension of any kind.
Yeah. It totally does.
Yeah, and it's certainly trying to. It's like constantly upping the stakes, especially when that one red shirt officer gets shot, and you're just like,
yeah.
I don't really care.
There's like a part where they're like, what should we do with him? We should move him to like the next room. And I'm like, are they moving him so he's just out of the way so they can just continue the scene without him lying on the floor?
Yeah,
That's how
possible.
like inconsequential this guy is right now. They're like, let's put him in the main area instead of the office.
I mean, that character exists.
I don't think they do though.
That character exists to be shot.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we've never seen him before, and spoilers, we'll never see him again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You have ruined Star Trek for me, Maggie.
Yeah.
Now I can't watch the rest of the series knowing that I won't see Officer
Waylon.
what oh Waylon, there we go.
Yeah.
Officer Smithers. Officer Waylon Smithers. There was a really weird moment when they're trying to build up the tension, and Wesley and Geordi are down at the what do you call it? They're down at the holodeck trying to repair it, and they're talking to Riker over the intercom, and Wesley says something along the lines of like, you know, there's something that I can do, but it's risky. And he's like, okay, well, what's risky about it? And he's like, well, if I do it, everyone inside could vanish. And I'm like, so. So the program turns off. What's the problem?
I mean,
What, are you saying the human beings are gonna vanish?
I mean, I think that's what he's saying, and I don't see how.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes absolutely no sense at all.
Because, yeah, they're still physical beings. They're
Yeah.
just in another room.
Well, if we go by, so they haven't established this yet, but if we go by that transporter technology is involved in this, it could like basically half transport them, is like turn them into a pattern but then not rematerialize them.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's still
dumb.
a stupid line that they didn't think about, obviously.
Yeah, because they haven't established that fact yet.
Oh my god.
So I'm giving them credit for something they haven't established yet.
Well, fine then. Give them credit where it isn't due. I see how it is.
Yeah. I'm a nerd. I try to logic these things out.
Yeah, I think all in all, Maggie, this comes down to what I said to you last night. This is a high concept episode with very little plot.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is.
I hope I guess they do figure out the rules a bit better for, like, the holodeck stuff.
Yeah, the series becomes much more consistent as it goes on, especially because it kind of lands under a single producer for, I don't know, starting about 3 seasons in. And that producer essentially runs with a set of rules with writers for, like, the rest of the series. And not just TNG, but through the other series that he was producing as well. So it manages to stay fairly consistent with itself. There's still issues here and there where, you know, they just didn't think about something. But for the most part, bigger inconsistencies start to disappear for a while. So that's nice.
Okay, that's good. I do have, like, this is so minor, but I fully laughed out loud at it. After Waylon is shot, she's like, we need light, and Data just, like, doesn't know how a lamp works.
That entire shot is amazing.
Yeah.
He just, like, pulls the lamp from the wall and is like, oh, it turned off. How does
It's
this...
literally slapstick
What?
comedy. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like Data not understanding how a lamp works.
He's like shaking it.
And Brent Spiner is amazing at slapstick comedy, so that worked out very well.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Just, I had to, like, pause it and laugh for, like, a good minute. It was so stupid, but so funny.
Imagine the blocking on that, because Brent Spiner's reaction to it had to be like, he had to poke it perfectly with when Patrick Stewart's about to plug it back in.
Yeah, because they swing the camera. They follow Patrick Stewart in the background, going to the other outlet to plug it back in.
Yeah.
And Brent Spiner is like rotating with the camera too.
Yes.
It's very well done.
Yeah, it comes off extremely natural, and yeah, whoever shot that, good on them, great work. So, I feel like we're kind of running out of things to say about this episode with very little in it. So, Dory, did you have any favorite moments?
Oh, yes. Okay, I had, like, quite a few favorite lines. I do love the, like, Picard seeing Crusher for the first time in her outfit, and he, like, pulls his hand down his tie.
Beverluke.
Yes. But I did look, like, right at the beginning. So the secretary says to Picard when he first gets in the simulation, and he's like, she goes, Mr. Leach called twice, and there's a lady named Bradley waiting in your office. Nice legs. And then Picard looks down at his own legs.
Yeah.
Not you, the bride.
Yeah, he's like, yes. The secretary's like, not you, her.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's
love
so
that's so
good.
funny. I do love how Picard didn't know how to pronounce Joe DiMaggio's last name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
DiMaggio? Oh, then this exchange with that lieutenant. So he says something about, like, oh, you've got a woman or whatever. And Picard goes, she's a lady, all right. And her name is Enterprise. And the lieutenant responds with, sounds like a working girl to me.
Oh, yeah, that delivery was great.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it sounds like a hooker's name.
Oh, she's a lady, all right. And her name is
Enterprise. So you're a businessman.
That would be such a good t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, that's... I really like those lines. Those are some of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of, like, small stuff I liked but throughout the episode, but I think, like, those were some of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those lines were just so good. Oh my God, no, I forgot. Picard choking on the cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
He also does, like, a really loud clap at one point in the episode near the beginning, and that stood out to me because I just wrote loudest clap. I think it was like I think it was like when he was leaving the simulation. But yeah, it was just like the loudest clap ever. Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. It was silly and ridiculous, but thumbs up.
Nice.
Nice.
Maggie, any favorite moments?
I loved at the end when they're just out of nowhere getting philosophical, and the lieutenant is like, will I still exist, like, when you leave, like, will my wife and kids still be at home for me? And then Picard just straight up goes like, I don't know, man. It's like, oh my God, you can't, like, that was just like, I get that he just wants to be honest, but it's like, you can't, like,
just lie.
You can't
lie to this guy.
You can't lie to a hologram.
Yeah, just lie. You'll turn him off and he'll never know.
Yeah. I also kind of had beef with, like, how the holodeck program worked. Because it's just, like, it's a fucking computer program. You should be able to, like, pause it at any point.
Yeah, seriously.
And just, like, why is it still running when he's not there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
the computer gets a little self-aware too quickly as well.
Yeah.
Like, that was too easy to literally make the computer realize that it's alive.
And then they have this horribly sad ending when, like, Picard leaves the holodeck for the final time and the world...
and everything goes dark?
Yeah, the world just goes black. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus. Where did this come from?
This is dark, literally and metaphorically.
What a bummer.
It just doesn't fit the rest of the episode. Like, the rest of the episode's so lighthearted.
It's such a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's also so wild, having somebody become self-aware and then while he's becoming self-aware being like, you also don't exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then turning him off.
I actually love that line when Data's like, all of you are holograms and stuff. And then, because the lieutenant's there and he's being held hostage by the bad guys. And he's like, come on, these guys aren't going to buy that. And then Data's like, I'm afraid you are not real also. I'm like, jeez, way to dunk on the guy.
There were two moments that did it for me, and it's right near the beginning and right near the end. As I said, I rewatched Picard's dumb language thing 3 times, in which one of the words is klaxon, and I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
you're just making shit up. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when Picard is meeting the woman in his office for the first time, she hands him money by pulling forward his uniform and sticking it between his moves.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her she had her hand in her jacket for like a good while. I was like, what? I forgot. I didn't even realize she was getting money initially. She just had her hand in her jacket for a really long time, and then she pulled out the cash, which I believe she said a C note.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, yeah.
And then she literally put it in his boobs. And I'm like, all right. All right. So, I mean, that's a good little role reversal there.
Yeah. That's when they could have, because you're saying, like, she had a good exit, but then they ruined it. Like, they could have done the business card bit before she leaves. And
they
then,
couldn't have put the business card back in her boob or something? Like...
Yeah.
Or just, like, reaches, like, when she could have grabbed the card when she was, like, wear a suit next time or whatever that line was.
Yeah.
And then grab it at the same time, and then she puts it in her own boobs and
Yeah,
walks out.
because then you
I'm
have
like,
a good reversal between the two there.
I was like, that would have been such a good exit. But nope, she's like, oh, I just remembered I have to get a business card. I need it for, like, clue later.
Yeah. I need it for the plot later.
Need it for our 20 questions. So, Dory, are you ready for the next episode?
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, God. I'm scared. No. Yeah. Okay.
The next episode is, it's one word, Data lore. Data meets his long-lost twin.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
this is probably one of the best episodes of the first season, in my opinion.
Okay, wow, don't ruin it.
Well, to be fair, I already got so psyched because that means, like, 2 datas. I love data.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. Okay. So he meets his long-lost twin. Twin, right? Or did you
Yes.
say cousin?
Twin.
Why do I see your... Okay. For a reason, cousin popped into my head.
I don't think Data has a mother, so I don't know if...
Data has a cousin.
I don't know how cousins would work.
Yeah.
His cousin's a toaster.
Like, I guess his... I don't think his creator has even been mentioned yet.
No.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so maybe in this... Okay, maybe this... So he meets his twin. Maybe this is like... Maybe it's an evil twin.
Okay.
Maybe he uses the information for, like, evil. Or it could be, like, origin story. Like, maybe Data needs a... No, okay. No, I changed my mind. Okay. Data needs a tune-up. And he is brought somewhere to, like, get his tuned up or whatever. And his twin is there who's, like, maybe more advanced, but more advanced in, like, maybe an evil way, or, like, is programmed to do something, like, maybe sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
And Data has to figures it out and saves the day. I don't know.
Nice. Okay. All right, that's a pretty good prediction.
Yeah.
So we'll see if you're correct. I like your
I'm
concept.
just so excited. I'm excited for 2 datas.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see if you're right next time on Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.